Musically.
Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing today? How's your Tuesday going? How was your weekend? Well, I hope your weekend was great. I hope your week is off to a wonderful start. I really can't complain. So far so good, right? We hitting that spring, like that real spring weather, right? We got some rain. Is it just me or is your allergies like acting up? Are y'all having like allergies and stuff? Is it just me? Well, anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. Tonight's show is I hope that it plants some seeds like all my other shows, right? So again, like I put the link in the chat. So please, if you want to get in the studio, please feel free to join me. If you're commenting and I don't see it, please let me know. I don't know what stream you're already gonna be doing sometimes, right? So it don't be me because I be loving y'all comments, right? So anyway, y'all know before I get into this 70th episode, y'all, 70 episodes. So thank you so much for your support, for all of your love. I appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. So whether you're watching me live or, you're catching the rerun, I love you and thank you. All right, boom. So y'all, let me go ahead and get through this, right? Y'all know what I'm going to say because I got to do my spiel before we get into this thing. Please make sure that you're liking, subscribing across all platforms. On YouTube, it's Relationship Soup, period. Y'all know y'all got to put the period, right? If you want to join the forum, please. Relationship Soup Group, come and join the forum. If you want to follow me, Relationship Soup LLC, all right? Now, Father's Day, it's some daddies out there, right? Hey, go to the website, relationshipsoup.com. All right, check out our Father's Day cards. We have some wonderful Father's Day cards. So give your daddy the best. Give him some relationship soup greeting cards. Get him more than one because we got more than one for Father's Day, right? All right, boom. So anyway, I'll see y'all in the studio. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. If somebody is watching from Facebook, can you comment because I'm not seeing where it's commenting from Facebook. I posted something, but it only posted to YouTube. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. All right, y'all. So look, we're going to get into the 70th episode, okay? Now, this one, all right, now, y'all know this whole healing journey, and I don't claim to be doing this healing journey perfect. I don't even know if it's a perfect way. You feel me? I know about setting intentions and just doing the best that you can, right? So anyway, I hope that this tool that I introduce today. Some of you, I'm sure y'all know about it, right? So anyway, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, family. Grisham. I can't wait to meet all y'all. Oh, I can't wait to meet. Thank you for commenting, cousin. I'm glad to know that Facebook is registering. All right, y'all. All right, boom. So this is the 70th episode, and this one is called Unsent Letters, the Healing Words They'll Never Read. All right. Okay. All right. Hear me out. Hear me out. Right. So basically, what this letter, I mean, not letter, what this episode is about, um, it's about, have you ever, okay, now listen, hear me out. Have you ever wrote a letter? I see your comment. Hold on. Have you ever wrote a letter and never sent it? Right? And I know that some therapists use this, they use this exercise, and it's called the unsent letter. It's a letter that you actually write, but you do not send for a number of reasons, right? And then maybe I guess depending on your therapist and what y'all come up with, you may actually send it to someone, but we're not gonna get into that. This is about the unsent letters, all right? Okay. Reese, I see your comment. 70th episode, only 30 more to 100. Hundo, you already know that 100th episode gonna be special, right? We're gonna have to do something really nice for that. So, put your thinking cap on, Reese. Let's see what we can come up with. All right, boom. So anyway, I want to talk about this. All right, so listen. So how does this unsent letter work? So basically, is there somebody, whether it's an ex, whether it's a parent, or whether it could even be to your younger self, right? Have you ever sent a letter that you didn't send? So basically, what this does is you will write whatever it is that you've always wanted to say. Maybe it's a deceased loved one or whatever, right? And I did a whole prompt for this, and I will share that with you. And then I'm going to read some live ones too. We still gonna have our true false, y'all. I didn't mention that, but y'all know we're gonna do that every episode. So anyway, so basically, how this works is you just tell the truth. It's unfiltered, unedited, unapologetic. So don't be trying to make it nice. You feel me? Like when you write this letter, it's raw. Did y'all ever free write in high school? Did your English teacher ever have y'all free write? Right? Where you just free write, you don't care about no mistakes or nothing. You just getting them ideas down on the paper. That's what this unsent letter can be. All right. And we're gonna get into some details. We're gonna talk about different kinds. Leah Nicole, what's the science? Thank you for the hearts, beautiful. I appreciate you. Hey, I put the link in the studio, so if you want to get in this room, come on in here. We got room. It's a few of us in the studio already. Get on in here. All right, boom. So anyway, so what's the point of this tool? Now, the point is because, like, our nervous system, right? Sometimes we go through things, whether it's a trauma, whether it's an event, or whatever, and we might need to unforgive. We might need to unleash or whatever. So basically, the nervous system, it might need and the space for expression, not necessarily an exchange, right? Sometimes we just need to tell the truth about some things, right? So whether it's I forgive you, even though you never ask. Some people don't ask for forgiveness, but sometimes you may feel the need to say, hey, I forgive you. Maybe it's something like, I loved you more than I love myself. Have you ever been in that situation? I'm just saying, have you ever been in that situation where you love somebody more than yourself? And then maybe it's you were wrong and I needed you to be better. Have you ever experienced that? Think about that for a minute. And so the question that I want to pose, is there an unsent letter that you need to write to someone? And if so, who? You ain't got to say the who if you don't want to. All right, so I see you, Tonality. Cousin Leah, what it do? See, cuz, come on, get in this studio. Come on, get in the studio. All right, boom. So, where do we want to go with this? All right, so basically, an unsent letter can also be a reset for your soul, right? It could just be, you might just need some maintenance. You know how sometimes you don't have to clean the whole crib. You don't have to bleach it down because you didn't already done that. You just might need a little maintenance. So that's what this unsent letter can do as well. And this can fit into different categories. All right. So sometimes an unsent letter ain't for the person. Sometimes it's for you. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. What do I mean by that? So have you ever wrote something, even a text? It might even be a text, right? And then you realize, like, yo, this ain't even about them. This is me. Maybe that discernment or whatever goes off because sometimes it's not about the other person. And a lot of times it could be about you. Sometimes you might have to get to the root or the root of what it is. You know what I mean? So think about that. So let me go ahead and put this prompt in our chat. Okay? Because I really want y'all to think about this. And let me bring this on. It's a little slow tonight. Okay, boom. So who do you need to write a letter to tonight? Not mail it, but to meet the parts of yourself that still need healing. Think about that. Ooh. All right. All right, boom. And I'm definitely going to read some. Thank y'all. Shout out to y'all that actually DM me, and thank you for those that are in relationship soup as well that did actually participate. I ain't even gonna read your name. I'm gonna read what you said though, but I won't read your name. All right. All right, boom. So check this out. Now, sometimes with these unsent letters, sometimes you might think, yo, I need closure. But you don't really need closure. Sometimes you just need clarity. Right? Have you thought about that? Sometimes you might just need clarity. And that's okay too. All right. So, and maybe clarity is learning more about what your behavior is. Because sometimes you're moving away and it's not right. You're not right. You're not always right in how you move. What have your choices been? What have your boundaries been? Have you had those boundaries? I can truly say I haven't always honored my own boundaries, right? And then, you looking sideways like, why this person moving like this? Or why these people moving like this? Or why am I moving like this? So maybe you need an unsent letter to look at self, right? And then think about it. Not every letter has to be to an ex. Some of us are really over our exes. We're not even tripping no more. You feel me? Sometimes it might be because I believe in getting to the root. Now, look, I don't claim to be no therapist or nothing, right? So if you're a therapist out there and you want to chime in, hey, that link is in chat. Get in this room. I'm just going off of experience and conversations, right? And that's what it's about. I don't never claim to be no guru. I just claim to just talk about experiences. That's what we do here. You new to relationships. So the truth is, sometimes unsent letters, they don't go to lovers. Sometimes it ain't even about your ex. It could be to a parent that you felt didn't protect you as a child, that left you out here, right? It could be a friend who vanished. We've all had them friends to ghost. You might have been that friend. Just saying, right? You could have been that friend that ghosted. I'm just saying. I need to send one to my parents. Listen. And and just please note, with this show, with these unsent letters, I'm not talking on nothing that I ain't done myself. And that's a good one, Jay Desiree, right? Grisham. Look, I got to say your whole name. You might need to write one to your parents because it starts with our parents, even our first teachers. Sometimes we need to write that letter to our mama because sometimes our mamas are the first ones to break our heart. It ain't always the daddy. We always hearing about, a lot of times we hear about that daddy, but sometimes it's your mama that break your heart. So how do you move with that, right? Right. Okay. And I'm gonna get into some prompts and stuff. Look, I ain't gonna leave y'all hanging. We gonna have a lesson today. All right. So let's see here. So again, it could be to an estranged family member, a friend who ghosted you, a mentor, your inner child, and it could be to a coworker or a supervisor. Can we be real for a minute? Because sometimes them supervisors be doing the fool. Sometimes that power title go to their whole head, right? Am I lying? Am I lying? You can be traumatized at work. Not necessarily that an unsent letter has to be written for trauma. It doesn't have to be that. Sometimes you just might have some pent up anger or aggression that you might need to get out. And sometimes it might be your supervisor. It might be that coworker that get on your last nerve or didn't cross that boundary or that's not professional or HR friendly. A lot of us didn't have that. Sometimes you need to send the siblings and cousins. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had friends tell me stories over the years. Relationship soup, we've even shared stories. Sometimes it is to your siblings and cousins because sometimes your cousins ain't cool. Sometimes your blood ain't cool. Sometimes your blood hurts you worse than a friend or a stranger. It's just the truth. I sent a letter to the boss through the board and it might have got her fired. Oh, yeah, Mark. That's what you did. Did you really? Okay. You might have to talk about that. You got her fired, possibly. Subtonality. Hey, Leah saying, "What's up, music man?" All right, boom. So yeah, absolutely. So think about that for a second. Sometimes you might have to write to the little you. Because personally, I believe we become the people that the little us needed. Have you thought about that? Look at yourself now for a second. I'll take a second. Look at yourself for a minute. How you've grown, the things you've gone through, the lessons that you have experienced. Are you who maybe your 8-year old self needed? Could it be? What's up, Leah the amazing? Yes, Leah Nicole, absolutely. Where's my boy Derek? You know what? I know Derek. He probably gonna get in this room. He probably is gonna get in this room. Leah says, "Sup, Mark." Miss Woodson says, "Ready." What's up, Miss Woodson? What's the science? Don't give me Daniel if you listen. Hey, Miss Woodson gets a what's the science? For real. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right, y'all. So let's see here. Now, okay. So I know we're talking about um, unsent letters, but we know that there's different modes of communication as well, like text messages. Let me ask y'all this: have y'all ever, in your whole life, have you ever had a situation that you start hitting that text? You hitting that text real good. You typing fast. You breathing fast. Your heartbeat beating fast. You feel me? Listen. And then after you done, you look at it and your heart's still beating, and you know you shouldn't even send it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. That's your discernment, right? That's your discernment. If you feel for any moment that you shouldn't send it, don't send it. Derek Norris, what's the mathematics? Good evening, y'all. Hey, Lee Bennett. I'm with my mama. Tell your mama hello, Derek. Hug your mama for me. Hug your mama for me. And tell her thanks for watching as well. No comment. Uh-oh, Reese. Am I speaking to you? Am I speaking to you a little bit? I'm just saying. Sometimes text can get you in trouble if you do not quick send listen. Yes. Take your listen. And it's funny because I'm a professor by day. So I was just having this conversation in my class because I teach business communications. That's one of my favorite classes. And we were actually talking about like the different ways to communicate, like through text message, stuff like that, and email. And we were talking about how sometimes you can get that email from a coworker or whatever, and it ain't right. The tone ain't right. They being hella passive aggressive, right? But sometimes you just got to take that pause. If you feel the need to respond, sometimes you just need to be like, no, right? Because usually there's a time period in which you should respond. Sometimes it's 24 hours. You don't have to respond immediately, right? And there's power in not responding immediately. Sometimes you have to be stoic. Like, no, I ain't even going to give that energy to you. I ain't going to give it to you. I'm going to take my time and respond and keep my power, right? It's about. Let's see. Yes, the new iPhone lets you. You know what? Thank goodness. Okay, so let me ask you this because all right, I don't have the new iPhone. So does the new iPhone, right? What are we up to? Like 16 now? What is it? 16? Does it allow you like more time to retract? Because it seemed like the one that I got, like it only gives you like a minute maybe. So tell me about that. Hug to Derek's mom. Yes, love and light to Derek's mom. Absolutely. Young folks love to sex text and can get all. Yeah, absolutely. You have to be very careful with that, right? You have to be very careful with sexting because you never know. You be thinking, oh, this is my forever babe. We good. We gonna do this and that. I just say with caution, right? Not that you should live your life avoiding everything. Just exercise discernment and caution on that. Though. Be very careful. That's all I'm saying. You gotta be careful because you can't trust everybody. Sometimes people holler at you and it be their whole PR rep. You be thinking, man, I done found my dream and it be a whole nightmare. You feel me? Just being real. All right, so let's see here. All right, so now listen. Now, sometimes with these unsent letters, you may feel, Leah, I see your comment. Sometimes with these unsent letters, you may actually feel like, dang, you may feel unseen or unheard, right? But I'm a spiritual person. So let's look at the spiritual aspect of an unsent letter. God saw it though. He counted all them tears. He saw it. And whatever your belief system, fill in the blank. I'm just gonna talk about mine right now. If it resonates, hey, let it plant that seed. If it don't, hey, let it do what it do. But sometimes writing an unsent letter can be like in the form of a prayer, a confession, or even just a spiritual release. And truthfully, if I'm being honest, in my times of quiet, sometimes the things that I've said or wrote down, it ain't even need no audience. It didn't even need to go to nobody. It didn't. But in my being, I felt like God heard it. I'm just saying. What ever sexed the wrong person? No. Have y'all ever sexed the wrong person? Sex text? Sexting? Have you ever, was it the wrong person? How did that work? Halo. Halo, get in here. Get in here. Hit that link. I trust people completely because all are good or bad. And I remember what class was that? It was stating, was it sociology, that people are innately good? It is the belief that people are good, like most people are good, right? I'm careful with saying all for anyone or anything. Just saying. Lamont Stokes, what's the home economics? I gotta change it up because Daniel will be like, man, you be trying to give everybody my little greeting. What's up? Lamont, where your wife at? Can she ask your wife about unsent letters and what she thinks about it, or chime in with what you know about it? I'm just saying, unsent letters can be a powerful tool. I send private prayers all the time. Might have one involving amazing people from this show. You know what? Absolutely. Send them prayers. Look, if y'all think about me, send a prayer for me. Look, I don't claim to be perfect. I don't claim to be doing this thing right. I be needing prayer. Pray for me. That's all I'm saying. All right, so I've already talked about like unsent letters in the workplace. Sometimes y'all need to unrelease that, and maybe that would help your environment. Like if a lot of us have probably experienced that supervisor, that coworker that does the food. You might need to just do that unsent letter because you know what? I don't know. Maybe depending on the situation, I'm just saying do the unsent letter first and then move accordingly. That's all I'm saying. She has been super busy. I already know Lamar. I know she got that book and all that stuff going on. Listen, it's a lot of people that need what your wife got. Just saying. All right, so this is the thing too, y'all, and then I'm gonna get into a couple more things, and then I'm gonna actually read some prompts that some of the groupies shared. Now, this is the thing. Now, while unsent letters and doing all these tools is great, and I would say consult with a real therapist, okay, life coach, whatever it is that you got, right? Again, we just talking on this show. I don't claim to be the answer. You got to move accordingly. You got to move for what's right for you. So sometimes an unsent letter, is it really healing? Or are you starting to relive your trauma? And you have to determine that. You have to determine, like, if you do this unsent letter, is that really helping to heal you? Is that adding to your quality of life? Or is it actually putting you in a position where you're reliving it? Right? So when you're going to write it, ask yourself, am I writing to let go or writing to stay attached? Because sometimes what we go through, it feels normal. It feels like routine, right? So think about that. You got to think about your intention. And of course, unsent doesn't mean unheard. Sometimes those letters that you don't write, you may want to save them for your children to read after you long gone, right? So sometimes those could help future generations because I do believe that what we go through in life, I've always believed this. What we go through in life is for a reason and it can help someone else, right? And depending on how you move, is probably some of the things that your children are going to experience. Don't go by my belief because some of y'all ain't moving right out here. And then y'all going to be wondering why y'all children going through stank experiences. It probably has to do with you. So you might want to leave a letter or two so that you can help them. I'm just saying. But some of y'all men out here, some of y'all women too, y'all know that y'all ain't moving right with some of these people. Y'all know y'all ain't moving right with some people's sons and daughters. Y'all know y'all not. All stank and then be mad. Some of y'all men gonna be mad when y'all daughters be going through it. Be ready to talk crazy, but you ain't think about it when you did it to Tamika. You ain't think about what her daddy went through. You ain't think about that, did you? Nah, but you don't want nobody talking crazy to your daughter, but you want to talk crazy, right? Talk to her like you want somebody to talk to your mama. Just saying, if you like her anyway. All right, so let's see here. So, okay, y'all, let's stir the pot. All right, I know I got a couple of y'all in the studio. All right, so um, let's do this. Let's do this real fast. And I'm not gonna share no names. All right, so um, let me go ahead and share this. So, what is an unsent letter? It can be a whole dissertation. I'm being funny. It can be a whole letter, or it can be two sentences. So, raw, real, and unfiltered. I'm gonna go ahead and share this. Hopefully, it lets me share this in the chat because this is kind of long. Let me see if it's gonna let me share it. It ain't gonna sit. Okay, so this is what you're gonna do. So think about somebody, and y'all be thinking about this. Think about somebody you want to write a letter to. Two sentences. Remember, don't worry about editing it. Don't worry about any of that. It can be raw, real, and unfiltered. Again, it could be to an ex you never got closure from. It could be to your childhood self or whatever. So this is how you're gonna format it. Let me see. Let me give you an example. All right, so this is an example right here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this on. So this is an example. You love the broken version of me. That's why you never noticed when I started healing. Okay? All right. So I'm going to leave that up there for a minute so y'all can look at that as I scroll through some of these comments. All right, boom. So let me share a couple. If y'all want to get in here, Music Man, I see you're in the studio. If y'all want to get on stage, just kind of nod and let me know. I don't want to bring y'all on before you're ready. Okay, boom. All right, so let me share one. I know I shared this one. All right, so here's another one. So this person from Relationship Soup says, I kept choosing you while you kept choosing confusion. Now peace is my partner, and I finally sleep through the night. Ooh, okay, okay. Someone else says, I never told you, but you were the best thing that ever happened to me. Gotta love that. Gotta love it. Okay. Wow. Someone else says, you accepted lies about me and spread them and waited years before even telling me that what was allegedly said and treated me like it was true, then played victim, but I'm supposed to be the crazy one. That's real. Someone else says, I finally figured out it's my light that makes you and others mishandle me. I wish you knew what your light really is so you'd act accordingly. Ooh, that's deep. That's deep. Right. Another one says, I thought you saw me, so I was open and honest, and you weaponized it to cover your BS. Thanks. Wow. You know, that's something. How sometimes you could be like really coming from the right place, but your intention gets twisted. That never feels good. Have y'all ever been there before? Like you were coming with the best intentions, you know, the higher good at heart, but then it gets twisted. And something that I'm learning, that I learned, that was communicated to me early on in life, that everything in life is about growth. Nothing is truly personal. Now, I ain't going to act like I have that mastered because sometimes it do feel personal, but it really ain't. And sometimes it just has to do with that person. Just saying. So Mark says, I had an ex who felt being too severe with their children, one who was little slow and another who had issues with their children's orientation. Wow. I had an ex who brought their past abuse into our relationship. And that's the thing, too. And I think that's one thing, like when I mentioned about the unsent letter earlier, where it causes you to look at self, because sometimes it is possible, I'm not saying what you or me do, it is possible to project things in a relationship. And sometimes you need to pause and be like, is it really what this person is doing, or is this what I'm projecting? Sometimes people don't have the emotional maturity to do that. All right, so I see y'all in the studio. Who want to get in here? Who want to get in here? Okay, Mark, I see you, Halo. All right, so let me do this because I saw Mark first. All right, so I'm gonna let you in here, Mark. We got Halo, and I know Music Man gonna want to get into. So, Mark, let me go ahead and bring you on. Hi, are you? How are you, Mark? Hi, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. You're doing wonderful as always and everything. But yeah, this is one of them conversations that can get real deep as I put it into the chat because I even remember way back in the X ages, I'm a little bit on the older side and everything. Uh, a lady that sent me a ultimatum letter because they were part of a religious group, so they were part of the JWs, the folks that knock on your door all the time and everything, and they're basically like, hey, if you will join the group, then we can stay in a relationship. And I was going like, I don't think that I want to join that particular group at that particular time and everything like that. So I actually rushed to the phone, and I probably should have sent a letter, but I do remember rushing to the phone, and I was like, nah, because we had phones back those days and everything, and I was going like, no, I don't think that this is going to actually work out and everything like that. And even to your other point, just a clarification, the that particular ex was very conservative and everything, so they had a child that was a little bit on the slower side in terms of their academics, and ironically, they are now doing quite well. I think they might even be a teacher and everything like that. And then their sibling, their sister, was a member of the LGBTQI community, and they did, because they were so conservative, they didn't. They had a hard time relating to that, and that's one of the letters that I wish I had sent that I didn't send because we broke up and I got out of that relationship. But I probably should have sent a letter basically telling them that they needed to let their child be who they are going to be and not try to control their child and all along those lines. But I think that they probably were trying to be a little bit overly controlling. That's just my thoughts on it.
And that's fair. That's fair. And that gets so tricky too, Mark. Thank you for sharing that as well, right? And that gets so tricky too, because especially when you are not biologically that child's parent, that could get so tricky, right? That's why, hey, I play my position. You feel me? Like, but hopefully, people that are dealing with that, they can kind of move a little bit differently. Yeah. All right, so let me see here. Let me do this, Mark. I see Halo. He ready to get in here. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back because we got the true false. We're making good time today.
Yeah, we're making good time. Just really quickly to answer Leah's question, because I did see it in the chat and everything. Yeah, even though I'm in one of those age ranges that involves a big number, we won't say what the big number is and everything. I haven't had that pleasure yet of being married and everything. It's probably why I don't have any kids. I don't have any kids, and I've never been married. But it's not beyond the realm of possibility and all along those lines, to answer Miss Leah Nicole's question.
Absolutely. Thanks for answering that, Mark. And good question, Leah. Absolutely. And I believe that things can happen when they're supposed to.
Exactly.
So I just believe that in divine time, and I believe that's what's ours